Okay, you guys ready to go?
You bet.
Yep.
Okay.
The October 26, 2020 meeting of the Yarmouth Old Kings Highway Historical District Committee is about to convene. As a precautionary measure to reduce the spread of the coronavirus, this meeting will be held by remote participation. My name is Grace Rogers, and I am the office administrator and will be serving as moderator for this virtual meeting. I'll now turn it over to the committee chair for quorum.
Good evening. My name is Richard Gegenwath. I'm the chairman of the Old Kings Highway Committee for the town of Yarmouth. And our meeting tonight looks like we'll have a quorum. So is Bob Wilkins here?
I am.
Rosemary Nichols?
Here.
John Stewart?
Here.
Paula Morrison?
Here.
And Richard Gegenworth is here. So we can proceed. There are 7 items that have been submitted for certificate of appropriateness this evening. And they are shown here on the screen as we will address them in the order that they're listed. We approach each one of these as an individual happening, so to speak, and look at it for its merits on its own. And anyone who might be unhappy with the result tonight can appeal to the Regional Commission of the Old Kings Highway. And in order to do that, you would have to submit proper paperwork within 10 calendar days. And our office administrator will be able to help you with that. One other thing, we always ask if there are abutters present, so that if an abutter is present, they could speak up. We'll give them a chance to comment on the proposed application. And we also will comment after each one that if you're going to make any changes compared to what we've approved tonight, that you would need to contact us to make a modification. So with that, we can begin. Oh, we'll let our office administrator, Grace, give more instructions concerning how to operate the electronics, basically. And I'll give it back to Grace.
Thanks, Richard. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, this meeting of the Yarmouth Old Kings Highway Historic District Committee is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access and participate in the proceedings as provided for in the order. Persons who'd like to view this meeting while in progress may do so by joining this virtual meeting as an attendee or the live feed on the Town of Yarmouth YouTube channel. You may also listen to the meeting by dialing into the number provided on the notice of meeting. The meeting will also be posted on the Town of Yarmouth YouTube channel for future viewing. Please be patient as we work to overcome any technological challenges with this virtual meeting. For all meetings, all audience participants enter the virtual meeting muted. Participants will be unmuted when called upon to speak by the chair or moderator. If you are not speaking, please mute yourself to avoid unnecessary background noise. Clearly state your name each and every time prior to speaking. Do not use speakerphone or Bluetooth devices when speaking. All votes must be roll call votes. After a motion is made and seconded, the chair will ask for a roll call vote. For applicants and presenters, applicants can use the raise hand button or press *9 on their phone to identify themselves to the chair. The moderator will unmute applicants when they are called upon to speak during this portion of the agenda. Applicants shall identify themselves by first and last name and affiliation. Applications or presentations provided by the applicant will be displayed, by the moderator only if you ask to do so. If it appears the meeting cannot or should not proceed, then the moderator will recommend that the chair request to continue the hearing to a later date and time. Public comment. During the portions of the hearing designated for public comment, the chair will ask if anyone in the audience has any questions or comments relating to the item being heard. Members of the public may request to speak by selecting the raise hand button or *9 on their phone and waiting for the chair to call upon them to speak. Members of the public recognized by the chair are asked to identify themselves by first and last name and affiliation for public record, and then provide their comment. I'll now hand the meeting back to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. Okay, the first item is concerned with putting new shingles on the siding of the house at 26 Mary David Road. The homeowner is Morabeth Chilson, and the Chilson Family Trust are, I guess, technically the owners. So the idea here is that there are now painted siding on the house. It's a classic burgundy or cottage red, and it was natural shingles originally that got painted, and they want to remove those and put up new shingles, which will give a completely different look to the house, I'm sure. Is Morabeth here?
Looking at the attendees. Yep. I'm going to promote to panelist. You should be able to unmute and speak. You're still muted.
Morabeth will have
Hello,
to.
more Beth Jillson here,
Oh, good,
owner of 26 Mary David Road.
good. So I had a question on the exterior siding. When I looked at this on the, I didn't get over to your house today, but I looked at it on the internet, and it wasn't clear that it was shingles now. It looked like a
It's-
vertical siding.
It is, it's not shingles now. It's, I don't know what type of siding it is, but it's definitely not shingles.
Yeah, it's sort of like a X111 or a boards. Like a vertical looking appearance.
I think it's like cardboard actually, but
But that's why we don't allow that anymore on new construction.
it's not very pretty, or it's not very substantial. So the reason that I requested this is that the association paints the units the gardens paints the units every so many years, and this year my color is up for painting. And when we all looked at the siding, there's a lot of wood rot. And so instead of having it redone on the same siding, I would rather just put cedar shingles back, not back, but on the siding,
On the
have it as
siding, yes.
siding.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Good. So, my colleagues, any questions?
Seems very appropriate to me. I move to approve.
A second.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve by Bob Wilkins and Rosemary Nichols, seconded it. So all in favor? Bob Wilkins,
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols,
Aye.
John Stewart,
Aye.
and Paula Morrison,
Aye.
and Richard Gagworth, aye. So we wish you good luck with it, Maura, Beth, and hopefully we'll have good weather for you to work on it.
Yes, thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Good. The next item is concerned with installing 2 skylights, removing a window and replacing it with 2 windows adjacent to one another at 29 Dove Swing Road. And the homeowners are William and Cheryl Caro, and Christopher Weeks is the agent listed. And I'm not sure if who's going to represent it tonight.
Let's see.
Is Christopher here?
He is. I'm promoting him to panelist. All right, you should be able to unmute and speak.
I'm Christopher Weeks.
Okay, good evening. Your application looks pretty complete. You have a spec sheet indicating a couple of skylights and the windows, and skylights are Terratone. Windows are 400 series Anderson, which I think of on the house in general, they're 400, if I remember correctly, when the house was.
They
built.
are.
Yeah.
They are.
Good. Right. I remember visiting when it was under construction too. So further down, we have pictures of the side. The next one. And that window up above is the one that would be replaced by 2 side by side.
Correct. And the size of those windows that are going to be replaced are the size of the ones that are on the front of the house.
Uh-huh.
So that will look like, it's John Stewart. It'll look like the windows that are next to the garage door.
Further in. The ones next to the garage door are a little smaller.
Yeah.
The ones on the very front of the house.
Main house, okay.
There you go.
Yeah, by the front door.
Correct.
That'll give you a lot more light up there.
Correct.
So, Bob Wilkins, I have a question. Since it's hard to translate the size of those windows to the gable end window, how would you characterize the difference? Or are they exactly the same size?
On
The
first
single,
floor,
the single size window that's up on the gable end window, that's up on the gable end now, is way too small for the folks who are going to convert this room up there to an office. So by code, it's not an egress window. So the windows on the front of the house are egress windows. Those windows are 33 by 54. So we're going to remove the 48-inch window that's up on the top and replace it with 2 33 by 54-inch windows side by side.
So the overall size when you're done is going to be
30 by 52.
30 by 52 as compared to what do you have now up there?
48.
Is 28 by 48.
They'll have 2 30 by 52s.
Correct.
So that's with the siding in between, we're talking 64 inches.
Correct.
Yeah, they'd be
Exactly right. Putting a post in the middle makes 64 inches.
Okay, and across the top there of the single window, does it run into the rake boards?
No. Oh, well, I have to change the header that's up there. So it's gonna come down by 6 inches.
Oh, okay. So that's 1 course of shingles, basically.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Grace, could you go back to that gable end view, please?
Of course.
Thank you.
Now, the window on the first floor looks like it's similar to the living room.
It is.
Or is that a door? The
No, it's a window.
Oh.
It's just the bush in front of it makes it look like a door, but
Right, right,
it's a window. It's in the garage.
good.
Have you thought about doubling that window also?
No.
Yeah, you don't
From a
need-
balance perspective, I'm thinking you're getting pretty window top heavy.
Uh,
And
no, I mean, it's with the blink of an eye, you basically see the gable end of the house driving by,
Yeah,
and there's a shower down below there, along with the bushes, and we got the deck in the back and everything. And aesthetically, I've kind of looked at it, and I believe everything aesthetically will look very appropriate.
good. Good. Okay. Do you have a motion on this?
I'd make a motion to approve John Stewart.
I'll second Paula Morrison.
Good, okay. All those in favor? Bob Wilkins,
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols,
Aye.
John Stewart. John Stewart.
Aye.
Oh, I couldn't hear you. And Paula Morrison
Aye.
and myself, Richard Gagenworth. So we all agree it should work out pretty well. And if they're going to make any changes further on this, let us know, Chris.
Okay,
Good. In advance.
sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next item is concerned with replacing 12 windows and installing a fence at 4 Rabbit Run Road. Jennifer Tickle is the homeowner and Brandon Diamond is the agent. I'm not sure, is Brandon here or Jennifer?
Jennifer's here, who I'm promoting to panelist.
This is Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer. Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to our meeting. So it's on the application, it's showing you're replacing, basically it's a replacement of windows.
Yes, there's the bulk of it is replacement windows.
And they're similar sizes and
Yes.
grill arrangement, which are 2/2s.
Mhm.
Is that what was there before?
No, right now there's 12/12 and that's the side elevation that you're looking at. The front of the house, it's 12/12. Oh, it's really not a good picture. And it's like 48 in the picture window.
Yeah,
So I'm proposing to change the picture window into 2 double hung with the 2/2 arrangement instead of the large picture window
uh-huh.
on the front.
And the total width would be reduced then, where the picture window is?
It would basically be divided in half with 2 windows taking the place of the 1 large window.
Oh, okay, so it's,
There was a picture submitted of an example.
Are you removing the bay area or?
No, I would leave the bay area, so there would still be the 2 side windows.
oh, okay.
I'm
So
just looking, there was a Marvin window picture. There it is. That's just a sample. The roof line on this window example is different than,
Yeah,
I don't have that,
Yeah.
that awning style roof there, but it would look like that. So I don't know if you can go back to the front, but you'll see that I don't have that little roof over the top. I just have the,
right, that's okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
And the other windows would stay the same size. They would be replacement windows, not new windows. New replacement sashes.
right.
But they would all be 2 over 2, right?
That's what I would like, yes.
We're talking about 6 windows on the front facade, in essence, counting the 2 bay windows as 2 separate windows. Is that how many? 6?
Well, there's the 2 in the just to the right of the vehicle, then there would be 4, and then there would be 2. So the large window in the middle, the picture window, I measured it, and I can make the spacing between the windows be the same and divide that in half so that I can do the 2 double hung sash 2 over 2 there instead of the large picture window.
Right, and you're counting each side light window as separately, so,
Yes, so I guess it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
6,
7,
7, 8.
8. I would go from 7 to 8.
okay. And the other windows are all on the gable end? You
Well,
mentioned
the
12.
other, yeah, it's all the way around the house, actually. All of the windows are single pane, and I don't have storm windows, nor do I have screens. I recently purchased the home in July,
Mhm.
and they're very loose in the frame. You know, they're not good and tight, and not energy efficient. So if I'm going to make the change, I just want to get it all done. So in the back, I don't know if she can find the back of the house. I would like to make one more significant change to the back. So the 2 windows that you can see that are side by side,
Mhm.
I would like to change that to a sliding glass door so that I have access to step out into the backyard without having to go into the garage.
Uh-huh, yep,
Mhm.
it's a good spot for it.
And then
Yep.
the window to the far left would be the same size, a replacement sash. And the casement window to the right of that double window would also be replacement casement sashes, well, not sashes, but replacement inside cases. And then you can't see, but just beyond the tree to the right, there's one smaller window, slightly larger than the one that was replaced by someone else that is white. That's the laundry room window that would also be a double hung new sash.
Good. Are you planning on extending the deck or something? Because you have to have steps coming out of that sliding glass door.
Yes, and initially I would add a simple step. My longer term goal would be that I would like to try to have a small deck with potentially an enclosed screen porch over the top. But that's not part of this renovation. That will be
You just,
something.
when you put the door in, the building department will make you put in a couple of steps there. So
Yes,
Yeah.
of course. I'll have that. That would be part of the permit.
Good, okay.
And then on the gable end of the house, oh, there's the small laundry room window. So you can see that one to the
Right.
right of the casement window. So that would be the other one that I would propose the new sash.
And the divider on the windows, will that be built right in?
Yes, they would be in between the panes of glass.
Uh-huh.
They're a Marvin window that I've had in a previous home that are fiberglass, and they're quite good quality, and I liked the way they performed in my previous home.
Yeah, they are good.
And then on the garage side, which is around the corner from that door that comes out onto the patio,
Yeah.
well, let's stick with this one. So this end of the house faces White Rock Road.
Rock.
And you can see I have a lot of evergreen rhododendrons that are quite mature there. And so as you face the gable on the left-hand side, I'm proposing to remove that window and replace it with a triple awning style window to give me a better bed wall.
Is that the one in the back?
It's the one in the front. Well, it's the one, as you're looking at the drawing to the left, which is closer to Rabbit Run.
Yeah,
And I did a little sketch of it.
right, but yeah, okay, awning.
So those existing windows down below are covered up by the rhododendrons by quite a lot. And actually the rhododendrons sort of cover up the two first floor level windows as well and the lower parts of it. The upper window to the right would be a new sash like all the others, the 2/2, and then the front left,
No,
as we're facing
No.
it, is
go lie down.
what I'm proposing to make a triple awning style window so that it's higher up in the bedroom and my bed would fit underneath it well.
Yep. So that's good.
Mhm.
The,
That looks like a nice plan
Thank you.
of the year to do it too, before it gets too cold.
Yeah.
I just have one question about the picture window in the front
Yes.
with the two side lights. So is that going to make 4 equal size windows there? The 2 in the middle going to match the size of the 2 on the end?
Yes, with the possibility of it being a fraction of an inch different so that I can have the vertical piece that separates the 2 in the front be equal in measurement to the one to the left of the one behind the lamppost. I'd like the vertical divider to be the same size.
So they might be a little
for
smaller
balance.
because of the trim you want to put in them.
They might be a little bit smaller, but really, when I calculated it, it's between 1/4 and 1/2 an inch for each.
Negligible. Okay.
Yes.
yeah, one of the things you can see, there are 7 sections, the windows subdivided there. There's 7 of them, and on each side there are 3. So if you put a line down the middle, it makes them all have 3 wide.
Yes.
So that'd be pretty close.
Yes, and it like I said, it worked out to be very negligibly different.
Yeah. Good. So any other questions? Fence.
Yes.
There's a fence involved here, which part of it, if I remember correctly, was a wooden fence, and part of it was a black chain link.
Correct.
And is there a plot plan on the side?
Yes.
Oopsie. Yep.
Was it sketched out?
Yeah, it was submitted with the fence. The fence went in as a waiver request, but it got moved into this.
Oh, great. Let me see if.
I can hold mine up if that helps.
Yeah,
Let's see if we can do that.
I can stop sharing.
Can you see that?
Hold on, let me stop sharing my screen and then you should be able to share
Okay.
yours. I'm also looking to see if.
I remember it was like coming out from the side of the house toward the back of the
Let me
house,
see how
4 foot high.
I need to unhide, let's see.
The picket fence.
It could be that Grace needs
I
to
have it.
make me visible.
Ah, good. Yeah. So, right, there was a gate on the left side. And
Yes.
then it goes out from the back corner of the house. And that's what, a picket fence?
Yeah, so from the back of the house to towards lot 19,
Yeah.
it would be picket because there is visibility from Rabbit Run.
Yep.
And then from the back corner of the house along White Rock Road would also be picket because of the visibility from the road.
Mm-hmm.
And
So-
then go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, Grace, if you could start speaking, then we could see this plot plan. Because
That's
I don't
not,
see the option
There
for
you
doing
go.
that other than to go to speaker view. And if I do that and I talk, it shows me. But if you talk, maybe we can see the sketch.
if you go to gallery view, it should be able to bring everybody out.
It's good. I can see it fine.
I
So-
can't see it at all.
Oh,
I have an updated drawing today that shows a little bit more detail that I emailed, but it may not have gotten to Grace in time because the request was made that I supply a landscape plan. So I was in the process of surveying the lot so that I would make sure I put things in the appropriate spot.
yeah.
And so there's some trees and things that are located now on the plot plan. And there are actually 3 pitch pines that are either on my property and one is on the line that on the back line abutting.
That's good.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
That's better.
Yeah.
So abutting the Harkins property that I would like to remove. She also would like it removed. She was going to possibly join the meeting tonight. I don't know if she's here, but they actually lean a little bit in the direction of her home. So she's a little bit would like them gone. And you can see, because you asked for the landscape plan, what I'm proposing to do there. Take those 3 trees out. There's a large rhododendron on my property that I would prune just carefully enough to get the fence behind.
Uh-huh.
And then at the Becrellis property behind, there's a lot of evergreen along their property. And then in between are some very leggy and unkempt burning bushes that the Becrellises are fine if I take them out. I would plan on planting a little bit of evergreen along there just for our mutual privacy. And then you can see I note that there's an area of unkempt low miscellaneous bushes, and they really just are a jumble of things that I would prune enough to get the fence there. And then in front of it on my property is a lovely little fir tree that will provide some nice evergreen appearance
Yeah.
as it grows. And then in the front, the corner towards on White Rock Road, the only thing that would need to come out along that length of picket fence would be a hosta.
Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
hi, Nancy.
My name is Nancy Harkins. I am the neighbor Jennifer mentioned,
Yep.
and she's been very proactive, and I do agree with the removal of the trees.
Good, thank you.
So just from a clarification point of view, the chain link section starts where and ends where? Specifically?
The chain link starts where at the right hand
Where that one pitch pine would go.
would be removed
There's an audio problem with,
As I understand it, the section parallel to White Rock Road would be a picket fence. Similar to on the other side.
That's correct.
And then across the back, where Harkins' property and Bucrellis' property, that would be the chain link fence.
And the section that runs along the Anderson property would be the picket fence?
No, the section, that section that where the cursor is now would also be chain link, but the
Mhm.
section going across the front
You know, that's-
would be picket.
And the section close to and parallel to White Rock would also be picket?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
And they're all 4 foot tall, right?
yes.
Good. Okay, I think we pretty much understand. Are any other questions for the members?
no, so there will be, you'll be cleaning up the plants adjacent to the chain link fence on
Just
both
in-
sides, is that?
Just enough to get the chain link fence in.
Right, yeah.
Minimally taking things out because we all like the green space that's back there. That's greenery.
Sure. I move to approve.
Just one question, how tall is the chain link fence?
4 feet.
4,
4 feet, okay.
good.
I'll second
Okay, good.
Paula
So,
Morrison.
Paula Morrison. So all in favor now? Bob Wilkins,
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols,
Aye.
John Stewart,
Aye.
and Paula Morrison,
Aye.
and Richard Gegenworth, aye. So, good luck, Jennifer.
Thank you.
You have a lot of work cut out for you.
Thank you very much.
Hope it goes well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. So, the next item is construction of a new deck, shingle roof, and stain and paint trim in the siding at 10 Elmcroft Way. The homeowners are James and Teresa Mocknick. Is that pronunciation? Do we have James or Teresa here tonight?
Yes, they're here. All right, everybody that had their hand raised has been promoted. If you can unmute, we can hear you.
My name's Michael Snow. I'm the son-in-law of Jim and Teresa Macknick. I'm here with my wife, Lauren, their daughter. So we can speak on behalf of them.
Okay. Good. So, yeah, we have the application, and this is the plot plan with, shows the proposed covered section of the deck and the proposed new deck, which would be kind of an odd shape, but it's in keeping, sort of directing you to the back section where it looks like a swimming pool with a fence
Correct.
around it. Yep. So let me ask you a question on this house. This was built about 20 years ago,
1989.
1899, right? So that went in with one foundation. I think it's the house next door. They put the foundation in the wrong place. And then they had to put a new foundation in.
Oh, there.
Yep. Yeah, because I came on the board in 92.
Okay.
I think it was 92 and 90, maybe 94. Yeah, so this house was already there. It's a nice area.
Yes. We like it.
So if we look at the pictures below, this is number 7, I guess. Where you see the back of the house. There you go. So the shed roof would be over the patio, which is kind of recessed here now, with a door coming out to it. And the part with the angled roof would be in this other section coming out of the garage door, etc.
That's not gonna, that section would not have a roof over it.
Just the patio on the ground.
Correct. So you would basically have a step down from the shed roof that's there.
Yep.
Continuing along the main run of the house. That would be the portion that's covered.
Yeah.
And then the part that comes at an angle comes off of that, and then it would attach to where the garage door is.
Good.
If you look at the overhead view, you can see it a little better.
Right. Gotcha. So let's see. Now, in addition, you're going to paint the trim and siding.
Correct.
And is similar colors? What was that?
Very similar colors. Yes, we submitted.
Let's change this. Yeah.
Yep. Good. Yeah, I saw these at the office today.
Yeah.
Is it the decking?
Yeah, the decking is a wolf, very similar to an AZEC decking.
Yeah. And this would be like a charcoal black.
No, it's actually a gray. The one that we gave to you, they did not have a sample of the right color. So I wrote Harbor Gray in there and pointed to the color on that sample. It's a little lighter gray than the one that you have.
Okay. That's this one.
Correct.
Good. Okay. But the shingles on the roof will be moire black, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. And that's an architectural blend. That's a lot of character. And then the siding would be this, like a Cape Cod.
Yeah, that's actually a Mabeck shingle that is Seacoast Gray.
Uh-huh. Very pleasant. Good.
On the cedar. And then we also submitted a clapboard color for the front of the house, which is just a little different gray.
Uh-huh. And the trim is white?
Correct.
Great. So any further questions?
I have a question about just a clarification. So the pitch on the new roof that you're proposing over the deck that's going to have the roof,
Yeah.
that is the same pitch as the current shed roof?
It is. It'll be a step down, just one little step down, about 12 inches,
Yep.
enough for a piece of white trim.
Yep. That's what I thought I understood you to say. I just wanted to make sure.
Sure. Yep.
Good. Okay, do we have a motion on this?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. Rosemary.
Good. Okay, so Bob Wilkins,
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols,
Aye.
John Stewart,
Aye.
Paula Morrison,
Aye.
and Richard Gegenworth, aye. Very good. Jim, good luck with it all. It should look nice. I'll take a swing by again, put them over in
Thank
there.
you.
Beautiful. So next item, number 5 on our listing, is a simple matter to install a storm door at 78 Willow Street. Teresa and Marcia Cochiti are the trustees and owners. So do we have Mark or Marcia here tonight?
I've promoted Mark.
Yes, Mark is here, Marcia is not. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and committee
Good
members.
evening. Good to have you, Mark.
Thank you. I feel a little insignificant compared to these other projects.
Yeah, they're doing a lot more. I remember you were in a year or two ago.
Yes, we were just taking care of a storm door on the back and some window boxes on the front.
Right, that's what I thought. Good. So how are they working out?
They're working out fine. It's still growing in terms of the window boxes. We need to dress up the front a little bit more because we put the window boxes and there's no storm door at all in the front. So the proposal is pretty straightforward. It's a traditional design, mahogany solid front door, storm door rather.
Yep.
Screen and a solid glass with a screen insert.
Good.
Replaceable or switchable seasonally. I don't think there's any need for a house number because the house number is above the existing door. So the only question really is the applique there that would kind of be on the front door would be a nautical Cape Cod theme, maybe a anchor or something like that. That's about it. That motif. The color I have listed there a navy blue, a cranberry bog red, or a white, and that's that's up for debate. And I think my wife will probably win out with the navy blue, but if I had to bet.
I think the navy blue would look very nice.
I'm not a big red fan, but I am a big Red Sox fan. So I was kind of leaning towards the red, but the blue is nice too.
Well, keep harmony in the home. I move to approve.
John Stewart, second.
Okay, so all in favor of this? Bob Wilkins,
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols,
Aye.
John Stewart,
Aye.
and Paula Morrison.
Aye.
And I will give it my blessing too.
Thank you very much.
Good luck with it, Mark.
All right, drive by and take a look. Thank you very much.
Okay, will do. Thank you. Item 6 is on Willow Street, number 78 Willow Street. I'm sorry. That was that one. This is in-ground pool on Nottingham Drive, number 6. Steve and Karen Graziano are the owners, and Nori Alves is the agent. So I'm not sure who's here tonight. This has concern with the in-ground pool and a fence.
Nori Els is here from Dartmouth Pools.
Great. Thank you, Nori.
You're welcome.
So, this is a nice location. And this is kind of work that's going on in the back of the house, pretty much.
Correct.
Do we have any pictures to show on this? Grace. Good. Okay, there's a sample of the fencing, which is a
That is the ornamental type fencing.
yeah, it's very appropriate for the location. Now, on the plot plan, I think it shows part of it to be a black chain link and part of it to use this ornamental. That's on, I think it's number 7, is it? Or 4? Picture 4. Grace, could you show that? Yeah, plot plan. Right. So it shows where the black ornamental is. It's 4-foot fence. And then the other sections are 4-foot also, black chain link fence. Yeah, there's a little enlargement now. So it'll be 2 sides, I take it. Is that right?
Yes, 2 sides of the chain link and 2 sides of the ornamental.
Yeah, and there's wood right backing up to that pretty much. So that.
Yes, the 2 sides of chain link are up against the vegetation,
Yeah,
so they'll blend in with the vegetation. The other 2 will be visible much more from both sides.
good. Okay. And where the double gate is, that's the ornamental section too.
Correct.
Nice. Any other questions, my comrades? No questions, and somebody might want to make a motion.
I'll move to approve. Rosemary.
I'll second it. Bob Wilkins.
Good. All in favor? Bob Wilkins,
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols,
Aye.
John Stewart,
Aye.
and Paula Morrison,
Aye.
and Richard Gageworth, aye. So, Nori, you're all set. You can get moving on it. Usually people wait about 10 days in case somebody appeals our decision tonight. But seeing it's in the back of the house, I think your neighbors probably will be happy with it.
Okay, then. We thank you very much.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Okay, thanks.
Now, the next item, which is number 7, we have a bit of a problem because this is to remove the existing, I think, the siding on the dormer and re-shingle it with, and putting in a replacement window at 100 Heatherwood. The problem is that there are evidently a lot of abutters, so to speak, and we would have had to do a huge mailing and get it out in time, which didn't happen.
Hmm.
Is there a representative here tonight from Kingsway?
I did notify the applicants and the agent that we'd have to table the item until the November 9th meeting, just because I think there's 200 plus abutters, so it took us 4 days longer than usual.
Let me, maybe you know more about this than I do at this point, but we had a fellow in about 2 years ago from Kingsway, and what was happening is, of course, they have a lot of buildings, and they have a lot of these doghouse kind of dormers, and they're difficult to get at to do the re-shingling of the sides because there's not much space between the dormers and the body of the house. And at that time, we allowed them to put up replacement shingles as, I believe, vinyl shingles. And they were good quality vinyl shingles. And they were going to do that off and on in the future on similar situations. And so we kind of gave them approval to do that as they go along, and thought they would come in and just get a simple certificate of exemption on each one. So you'll have to ask them about that, and because they maybe don't have to come in for a certificate of appropriateness.
I will look more into it. But at this point, the 200 nota, they put it in for the application.
Yeah, as a certificate of appropriateness.
Yes.
Right. But then maybe they didn't remember. Maybe it was a different guy on the job than from Kingsway.
Yeah, perhaps I'll do more research to see that prior issue.
Bob, do you remember what I was talking about?
I don't. When do you think this happened?
I would think 2 years ago.
I do remember that. Yeah, actually, and I agree with what your recollection, Richard, that we said it was fine to do, and if I remember correctly, you said in the future you could go ahead and do the other ones in that manner.
Yeah, right.
The rotting problem and the trim rotting problem.
Yeah, and when you look at the whole place over there must be a couple of hundred of them.
Yeah, I don't think they'd have to apply individually. Sounds
Yeah.
great.
If it's the same thing, I mean, that's what the reading I get.
I believe it is from your description.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so will I move to table it then? John Stewart?
Okay. Yeah, and we'll get better clarification too. Because maybe what we gave them was permission to do the reshingling, but now this is also going to be a replacement of the windows.
Right.
Again, if it was just a simple replacement,
Mhm.
that you could do on a certificate of exemption too.
Right. Okay, so
Okay,
again,
so let's do a tabling. You, John,
John Stewart, to the next meeting on, what's the date?
The 9th.
9th.
I'll second Paula Morrison.
Okay, all in favor of tabling this? Bob Wilkins,
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols,
Aye.
John Stewart,
Aye.
and Paula Morrison,
Aye.
and myself. So it will be tabled. But hopefully we'll come up with some more information on this too, with some discussion with Old Kings Highway.
Yeah, I'll do some research.
Great. Okay, now we had a couple of things in addition to our agenda tonight. And one was Grace sent out letters concerning the violations. And I don't know if you've heard anything back on them.
I'm trying to remember. 2 out of 3 have called me. The 3 of them have been issued, but 2 out of 3 have called to rectify. One thinks that they had a COA in the 80s, which I need to pull records and make sure that's true. And then the other is submitting an application because they were unaware. And I haven't heard from the other yet, but I do know that it was delivered.
Good. Okay. So that'll continue on. The other item was concerned with a warrant that's coming up in the town meeting. And you may have received something in the email today from Grace. I'll get it myself because I already had the information. But I had discussion with Joyce from the Energy Committee from the town. She's been on the Energy Committee for a few years. She's chairman of the rate. And she called me one day to discuss something that was coming up on the town meeting warrant, and then sent me information about it. And at the last um, selectmen's meeting, I spoke on it, and it's concerned with the, let's see, I don't have all my paperwork here. It's on the dining room table right now. But amongst this thing that they want the town to support was an item which basically urges us to allow solar panels anywhere.
Mhm.
And I spoke to the selectmen about this, and I thought that it was not proper to have that as part of this multi-pronged approach of theirs, because we do take into account the energy consideration of solar panels and wind devices already as part of our charter. And indeed, we have a pretty high percentage that get approved. There's been some work done by Senator Sear, or Sear, however you pronounce his name, and his colleagues, Mr. Johnson, and I've received copious amounts of information from them to the tune of like over 100 pages. And I won't bore you with all of that, but they've been trying to push for, you know, the town was recently, it was in the register. The town manager is leaving in January, and one of the things that he accomplished was getting us called a energy conscious town, something like that. I don't know the wording of it. But this whole thing is in keeping with Sears' job of getting more solar panels installed on Cape Cod, and this group in the town to do the same thing. So it's sort of an attack at us. And the data that they presented showed us on a particular year where supposedly we denied like 45%. And the data was incorrect. And it turned out that we had denied, it was 5%. And so they thought they were going to do creation, the universe, a favor in pushing us to approve of all solar panels on everything. So we're sort of fighting that now. And I'm putting together something to talk to at the town meeting. I'll write this up in the next few days so that we can present a written item to the selectmen at the next selectmen's meeting, which is, I think, the 10th. And then the 17th is the town meeting where I would present in opposition to this, whatever you call it. So if you guys read through this thing and understand what they're trying to do, and you support my effort, I will continue on.
Right, you could, keep us informed. I was unaware of this till this afternoon.
Yeah, well, I only found out about it a few days before the last selectmen's meeting.
Wow.
And luckily, I've been chatting with this gal on the energy committee for like 5 or more years. And she's been to my house a couple of times, with my old house. That goes back 10 years. And so she's kept me aware of their happenings once in a while. In fact, I went to 2 of their meetings. They usually hold meetings up in Conference Room A. And I've been to a couple of them, not too recently.
So could you give us a definition of what the Energy Committee charter is and how were they chosen? Were they elected? Were they appointed? And
I think they're appointed. I think there
urgent.
are about 7 members on the Energy Committee.
Okay,
And I think they're all appointed.
all right.
There's 4 people that are participating currently. I have 2 with raised hands that would like to speak.
Okay.
Oh, in the background, participants. Who is that?
The first hand raised was Barry, I don't know how to say his last name, Margolin. So I will promote him so he can speak. All right, Barry, you've been promoted.
Thank you. I'm Barry Margolin. I'm a resident of Yarmouth and part of the Yarmouth Climate Action Network. And it's our petition that is on the warrant for the November town meeting.
Question, Barry, that the Climate Action Network is a worldwide thing, I take it. And
it is the local branch
the
of...
most well-known person is the little girl who goes to the UN, right?
I wish I could claim Greta's credibility, but we are the local voice of that
network
movement.
Right. It's not part of the town of Yarmouth.
Well, the folks who put the petition, 170 of us signed the petition that's put the warrant on, the article on the town meeting warrant. And
I'm saying that that's an individual thing of those people. It's not something that the town of Yarmouth has established, this network.
no, it's a citizen organization.
Right.
And
Independent.
I'm not, in any event, what the article on the warrant is about is that over the last couple of years, a volunteer group, including folks from the Energy Committee, has put together a program called Solarize Yarmouth, which is organized to promote the installation of renewable solar rooftop power across the town. It's launching in the beginning of next year. And about a third of the town is in the historic district. It includes some beautiful historic properties. And since we filed the warrant, which basically it doesn't order the committee to do anything. We don't have that authority as town meeting. It's the district has the authority of state law. We encouraged the district committee to support the installation of rooftop solar. We've agreed to amend that to exclude rooftops facing 6A, because we heard a lot of feedback as we circulated these petitions and understand that there is a great deal of concern about the historic importance of 6A. But outside of 6A, there are thousands of homes which are not particularly historic, in which the importance of renewable energy to save the Cape and the whole world is to us pretty critical. And we're encouraging the district committee to endorse the use of solar power in the district. Our concern is that we're about to promote the adoption of solar power across Yarmouth. We're going to provide a simplified, discounted way to do that for homeowners. Folks in the district who have to go before you to ask for permission to do it, it's an enormous disincentive to even start the process. Installing solar is tough enough for individual homeowners to take on. The whole point of Solarize Yarmouth is to make it easier. And
The Solarize Yarmouth,
I don't agree with what you
that would be done in keeping with the Energy Committee, is it?
well, Solarize Yarmouth is actually a state program sponsored by the Massachusetts Clean Energy Center. They've provided the town with a grant to market the availability of solar power and to organize an effort to make it simpler for homeowners to install.
Would that
We're
be
just
done by-
asking for the OKH committee to help us make it easier for homeowners in the district by
Oh.
making it clear that it will be permitted unless you're facing 6A.
Yeah, well, the Energy Committee, I would take it, would be involved in getting, group discounts and all this stuff. Not, we have nothing to do with any of that.
Solarize is actually a program of the town, not specifically the Energy Committee. It's supported by the Energy Committee, but it is a program.
doesn't? Somebody's got to do it.
It's a volunteer team that includes members of the Energy Committee, supported by the Board of Selectmen, and sponsored by the Commonwealth's Clean Energy Center. We're looking for help from the OKH committee to make it easier for homeowners in the district to decide to make the decision to install solar by making it clear that the OKH committee won't stand in the way.
No, we can't do that. So, okay. Anything else you have to say?
Richard, if I may make a comment.
Yes.
Since this warrant has come before us, I've been doing a lot of statistical research about the percentage of solar panels that have been approved. And for 2019, there were 20 applications. One was withdrawn due to an incomplete application. 2 were denied, and the rest 17 were approved.
Yeah.
So
pretty high percentage you get approved.
I don't understand why we're being characterized as putting a disincentive or standing in the way of this one. In fact, virtually every time we have a new house application here, Richard points out the fact that if you would just rotate the house or move the L to the north, you could put solar panels on it. We've been proponents of this.
Yeah, with all new construction.
Not when they face the street. We have to draw the line.
Yeah, but this on new construction, we can give our opinion and try to make the people design the house in keeping with solarization. But all the other houses, we look at each one separately. All of our work on Old Kings Highway addresses an individual house in its setting with the neighbors involved as well, so that they can weigh in. As tonight, we had a neighbor on one of the items that spoke up, and we get that. We have to put out a notice to abutters. And so we don't make all these decisions completely on our own. And that's what we do. We can't give carte blanche and say, hey, everybody, put solar panels on your house, period. It's not the way it's done. I mean, the whole concept of the historic district, the way it was laid out back in 1973, is to look at each case individually. We don't have precedents. We don't say we put solar panels on the house 2 blocks away, and therefore we should put them on this house. We look at each one separately. So Barry, I mean, that's a complete change of our whole way of doing business. And don't think well, our charter from the state
Yeah.
tells us to do this.
So, Mr. Chairman, may I make a few comments with regard
Yeah,
to this?
please.
First of all, you do understand that we are a duly constituted Massachusetts entity by law, that we have a specific mission, which is to preserve the historic character of the historic district as defined geographically in our charter. I would like to point out that 6A is not the only corridor of historic significance in Yarmouth Port. There are many byways and side streets. I happen to live on one that are of great historic significance. And we consider those equally sensitive to aesthetic intrusions that would run counter to our mission. So I think that it would be a good thing if your group were to proceed in a cooperative way rather than an adversarial way toward us. I think there are potentials for common ground here, but you have to be mindful of the fact that we are duly constituted by law and that our mission is to preserve the historic character of Cape Cod, of the historic district. And that district includes more than 6A. There's also another point I could make, which is that a lot of residents in areas that may be considered by some, or maybe universally considered of less historic significance, are nevertheless very sensitive to the placement of conspicuous placement of solar panels on roofs in their neighborhood. And we are very sensitive to the opinion of abutters in making our decisions. So we definitely are sensitive to renewable energy. We try to accommodate applications for renewable energy, but if in our judgment, those applications run counter to our mission, then it is our duty to deny those applications.
Well said.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Barry, are you all set? I don't want to demote you to promote Joyce. You're not all set.
No, I'm not here to be argumentative. I just wanted to make sure that the committee understood what was coming.
Right. All right. Thank you so much for your comments, Barry.
Okay.
So we have also Joyce Flynn here, who would also like to speak as well. And we'll promote her. There she is. All right, Joyce, if you unmute yourself, you'll be able to speak.
Hi, I'm Joyce Flynn, the Chair of Energy Committee. I raised my hand when I heard the question about Energy Committee. Energy Committee is town appointed. It's an official committee. We serve for 3-year terms. We're very much interested in finding some kind of ground that we can all agree on. I'd like to make clear, though, that you're talking about a couple different energy groups here. When you, excuse me, when you talk about the Solarize plus Yarmouth with the Clean Energy Center grant, that's headed by Mike Duffy. Richard, you met Mike at a previous volunteer breakfast. He's a retiree from the National Energy, what is it, NREL, National Research Energy Laboratory, Energy Laboratory, something like that. and did a lot of work for them in Colorado, and now has done a lot of work in Hawaii. He's also somebody who wants to make this technology more available to everybody. And he brings a lot of people who could help us all in town, because at least right now, while he's going to be doing the grant in 2021, he's also the president of the MIT Alumni Association on Cape Cod. So that's the Solarize plus Yarmouth. Then there's the Yarmouth Climate Action Network, which is a little branch of a Cape Cod Climate Action Network, which is a little branch of a state and a country, and as Richard pointed out, an international network. That's headed by Barry, whom you've just met. And Barry has done, I think, a very good job putting together a petition that has 6 elements, but it's a petition for a resolution. And all of those are elements that encourage, that urge. It's not any kind of attempt to cut back on the authority of the Old Kings Highway. It's more in the nature of a cheerleading and persuasion that we ask you to, and I say we, this isn't an energy committee article. This is, a citizen article, but that those of us who want to do the Solarize Yarmouth project want you to be aware of it and want you to take it into consideration to the extent you can. The other 5 pieces of this resolution don't have anything to do with Old Kings Highway. It's only number 2 that does. Barry also did, I think, a very good lawyerly job, because he is a retired attorney, in doing the other piece of energy business at town meeting, which is a bylaw proposal to have the town of Yarmouth cost out doing future new buildings as self-sustaining, and compare that to the cost of sort of the default, what they would be liable to do if they didn't go above code. So anyway, I just wanted to explain Energy Committee and our relation to these articles. And also, since there was a question of how we're appointed, Energy Committee does not consider itself at war with Old Kings Highway. I don't think anyone does. And we've been quite particular to bring you all in contact with this through Richard, because we'd like to cooperate with this. And God knows Richard is one of the solar experts in the town of Yarmouth.
Joyce?
Yes?
I have just a question here. I have the amendment to the article right in front of me. And Barry, I assume, is the one who put this together. And at some point in it, it says that the committee shall consider rather than may consider. And in legalese, if he's a lawyer, he knows what shall means. It means we must. It doesn't give us the option of may, it gave us the option of shall. That sounds like we must.
Well, remember, it is only a resolution. It's not a bylaw, but I would think that if you requested Barry to change that, he might be amenable, but I wouldn't be able to change it.
Hold on. It's that way in our bulletin. It's what he took right out of our bulletin, our statement.
Oh, yes.
Section 10.
I think he was really trying to be very aware of what your portfolio is.
Yeah, I have to go to the dining room for a second, get some papers.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at, Rich, I'll wait till Richard comes back. This one line that's in any portion of the Old Kings Highway Historic District in which overhead utility lines are now lawfully permitted. Well, that's the whole town.
Just about everywhere.
So this is a non-starter. It doesn't make any sense.
That has already been amended from feedback from Energy Committee and from other people in the Yarmouth Climate Action Network. And that's how you get down to the question of the just 6A, which I understand from Bob is an issue that's an issue as well.
It's from the littoral district water line up to the Mid-Cape Highway.
You know, see, the problem is that the quotation, it's in quotation marks even, shall consider the energy advantage of any proposed solar and wind device. That's right out of our manual, our bulletin. But then these are a whole bunch of parenthetical expressions and stuff there. But then finally it says to approve. So if you take all that stuff out, it says, we urges the Yarmouth Old Kings Highway Historic District Committee to approve the installation of solar panels to be installed as part of the Solarize, etc. Any place in the district with overhead utility lines and rooftop satellite television sets, etc. That's junk. That's meaningless, and that actually comes out of the court case from a year ago, when the that was in the Barnstable court, where they were trying to prove that the historic district has power lines, and therefore they're modern things, and therefore you should have solar panels. And so that's where that came from. I don't think Barry on his own would have put this in. But what it really says is it urges the Yarmouth Town Committee to approve, period. And
but
we can't do that.
it's urges though, and the whole thing is being proposed as a resolution.
Well, you know, we can't do that, and therefore it shouldn't even be in there.
Exactly.
Item 2 should not.
I don't think this is the right forum.
It's completely unnecessary. That whole thing should be extracted from the proposal. The implication that we aren't sensitive to energy efficiency is completely false and can't be demonstrated by the record. And therefore, all of this is just, I agree totally with Richard, the chairman, on this.
I actually think it's insulting.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
With all of the work we do to try to convince people to put solar on their houses, and to demonize us is just wrong-headed.
Yeah,
Well,
and the
I confess I don't think you're being demonized, but also it sounds like Richard is the only one among you who saw the amendment that the presenters are willing to throw in first thing at the town meeting, which is the.
I just read the amended paragraph of Article 2. I'm reading it. It's in front of me.
It's on a separate sheet, and it's on an amber sheet. It was presented at Board of Selectmen whenever the last
Yes,
Board
that's
of Selectmen
exactly what
was.
I'm reading, what you're showing.
yeah, and that's just as bad. That only takes out the houses on Route 6A, like 200 houses.
Okay, so you do have that. When I heard the word demonized, I was a little confused.
I find it insulting.
Well, the point is that the other parts of the article, the 5 parts, don't do any urging. They're just statements. And the selectmen noticed that, and the selectman Bill spoke and says, you know, putting urging in there has a completely different ring to it. And he didn't right there and then propose that they drop it out, but he was leaning that way. And at the next meeting, perhaps they will. But it's going to go up because it's gotten this far. Evidently, it'll get into the town meeting. And so it'll have to get extracted there.
Would urges be better replaced by encourages?
I
No,
don't see the necessity for any of it. It's totally unnecessary. And quite frankly, I agree with John. It's insulting to us. We are, I think, extremely conscientious about what we do. We have a specific mandate which we adhere to, but none of that means that we are, or in any way suggests that we are insensitive to energy efficiency. That's just totally false. And the insinuation that we need to be encouraged to consider energy efficiency is just ridiculous and yes, and insulting.
And we're not encouraged to consider it. We shall consider it. You can't overlook that word. It's a mandate.
it's what we have to do.
So
I think it would be useful if members of your various groups were to sit in and listen to some of our meetings, and maybe you'd learn exactly how we operate.
come to the next time there's an application for solar, please.
I'm not sure. Are you inviting members of Energy Committee? You know, and we extend the invitation right back to you, of course. But the other groups, I think, will need to be invited through Barry for Climate Action Network and through Mike Duffy if you want to invite the Solarize Plus people. I'm trying to give you a sense of the who's who here.
Okay.
I'm the town committee.
Right. Nonetheless, I don't think any of this will make any difference to any of our decisions.
Our meetings are open to the public.
Yep, we know. Thank you. I'm here from another committee visiting.
Great.
Well, ours are open too. I'm afraid with our virtual meetings, there are no refreshments, which is a shame because we were truly the best committee for refreshments. Richard, you got to give us credit for that, right?
Yeah, gluten-free.
So, well, listen, everybody knows about this and everybody needs to think about it and process it some more. I hope we're all still here November 7th. I myself am like just waiting for November 3rd to be over and for the coronavirus figures to go down a little in Massachusetts.
Here.
So, thank you, Richard. Thank you, committee members.
Good night now. Okay, so anyway.
Any other hands up, Grace?
Not currently.
Okay.
Grace, when is there a point in this meeting that we can talk freely? Because there are several things I don't know whether I can talk about because I'm new.
What we could do for a moment, Paula, is actually if we wanted to make a motion to recess, so I could just review quickly the public meeting and administrative laws. I just don't want us to go into executive session if it's uncalled for, because going into executive session is there's limited reasons why we could, but you can.
I'm just wondering when we can talk among ourselves. That's all.
Yeah, you can end public comment. We can make a last call for public comment and then just talk.
Okay.
Okay, but we're live. Well, we were encouraged several years ago by our attorney, whose name eludes me,
Jim Wilson,
that we should, on a yearly basis, have an executive session. And we haven't done it. This must have been 4 or 5 years ago. We haven't had one. So maybe this is something. Is that, Paula? You don't feel that you're worried about saying something that.
Yes, I have some questions, and because I can't meet somebody at their car after the meeting down at town hall and talk to them about something, I don't know what the time frame is that I can ask questions.
Well, as long as it's not a quorum, you can talk freely to any other single member on the board. As long as there isn't any time, as long as there is not a quorum present and we're not, what's the word, Bob, adjudicating or, as long as we're not talking specifically about a specific application, even if you are, 2 people can talk about it outside of session.
Without saying anything, John, then it's about the email you sent about solar panels. That's all I'm going to say.
Solar shingles. Solar shingles. Okay, well, I can bring that up. That's on point. That's on subject.
Did we adjourn?
What's that?
Did we adjourn?
We have not.
I'll motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Richard Gegworth, aye. Bob Wilkins.
Aye.
Paula Morrison.
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols.
Aye.
John Stewart. Okay, we're officially closed off. So now we can talk.
All right. So
No,
here's,
No,
Before we speak, hold on, I gotta close out live session, but then I need to remove, I have to go into administrative law so everything is fair.